think it's conscious, but it's not. It's subconscious.
We're processing millions of bits of information every single second. Your mind needs to block out 99.99% of that. Where value tagging would be the what, the selective focus is why is it important. Your brain is going to want to prioritize things that are very safe.
For me,
Exactly.
money meant pain. Now
Yeah.
it means freedom.
The brain cannot tell the difference between reality and a vividly imagined scene.
What is it with wanting more money? Even let's say wanting to get rich.
It's not a dollar amount that
Right.
helps you feel safe. It's your
After 20 years of literally doing everything wrong, trying to buy happiness and ending up with mountains of debt, zero savings, and just with the clothes on her back, as a single parent, as she humbly admits, she changed her life around, started, owned, and ran many successful businesses in many fields, and made a successful exit. Moved to Portugal and created everything she had ever wanted. She became a money coach so she could help others achieve financial prosperity and abundance, and above all, a strong sense of fulfillment and happiness in their lives. In this interview, she explains how reaching ambitious financial goals doesn't have to be hard. On the contrary, it can be incredibly easy if you're working smarter and not harder. And it all starts with your money story. She explains why you cannot trust your instincts when it comes to making the right money decisions, but rather become aware of them as a step to gain back control of your money mindset and develop better money instincts that will allow you to make better decisions about managing and investing money to grow your business and your wealth and achieve lasting financial success for your brand, for your team, for your family, and for yourself. She shared some amazing strategies and also some quick hacks, tools, and tricks to quickly gain more awareness of what's going on inside your mind, how to identify and transform limiting beliefs that hold you back from reaching your potential of wealth and success. So, without further ado, let's dive into your next level money story with Katie Hedrick. All right, so first of all, Katie, it's very good to have you here, and thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
I want to dive right into the first question.
Okay.
So my first question is, the fact that we think that we're in control, or at least we understand ourselves when it comes to money. What's the true story?
We're sort of deluding ourselves a little bit. I think that most people will be running off of subconscious programming, things that they were taught or learned as children, how they grew up, what their parents believed about money, the types of things, they were exposed to when they were young, and all these different beliefs and thoughts and patterns and family dynamics play into how we perceive money and how we work with it in the world. Some people have a very lack mentality, or they have a lot of fear or overwhelm around money, or beliefs that aren't serving them, like I'll never have enough, I don't have enough security, money always eludes me, things like that. And most of us aren't aware that how much the subconscious plays into it. If you think about subconscious programming, sort of like the operating system of your computer, right? So the computer is your brain, but you have to load in an operating system like Windows in order to work everything inside. And if your programming is sort of geared toward the negative or toward the lack, then it's going to be really difficult to get ahead and to sort of get where you want to go, because you're going to be battling through all this subconscious blocks.
So
basically.
let me see if I got it to this point. The mechanism that is making our money decisions on a day-to-day basis, we think it's our conscious, but it's not. It's subconscious.
Pretty subconscious.
It's programming that was instilled with us since we were young, and this program surfaces itself and it controls any money decision that I'm making.
Maybe not any money decision, but it controls a vast majority, I think.
I'm not the one making the decision. It's an assortment of programming from the past and stuff that I heard, and it's not really me making the decisions. Is it the right distinction?
Let me explain it in a different way that might help. So there's two cognitive processes that are going on subconsciously with everybody. Value tagging and selective focus. These things go on in the thalamus part of your brain. And basically, what they're doing is value tagging is the importance that your brain is assigning to information coming in. You are well aware, most people are well aware that we're processing millions of bits of information every single second, right? That's coming in from everywhere. And your mind needs to block out 99.99% of that, right? Because it'd just be too much. And so what is your brain actually letting through that filter? And so the two processes, value tagging and selective focus, determines what it's letting through the filter. And those are determined by your subconscious and your beliefs. So again, value tagging is the importance that your brain puts on the information coming in. And so let's say you've had some failures in the past, or you're very fearful of things. Your brain is going to want to prioritize or value things that are very safe for you. And so of all the information coming in, it's only going to alert you to things that are going to keep you in your comfort zone and keep you safe. And sure, that's great if you want to stay safe, but if you want growth, if you want, to be successful and you want opportunities, it's not going to prioritize those, right? It's going to actually physically hide those from you because it sees those as a threat. So selective focus also works in that. Selective focus is sort of the why, where value tagging would be the what. What is it that's important in your life? The selective focus is why is it important? And so these things work together along with a clear life vision. This is why having clear goals and a clear life vision is so important, because you're taking your subconscious and making it more conscious. You're giving your subconscious an actual target.
Okay, so I want to know about money barriers, the money story. We talked about it, and especially how does my personal story or blueprint, how does it impact my decisions in my business? But let's start with the basics. What's a money story? Hey, if you're liking this video, please smash the like button. It helps the channel so much. Thank you.
A money story is basically what you're telling yourself about money. Things you may have heard growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Money's hard to make.
Money's hard to make, exactly. We'll never have enough. Rich people are evil or something like that. So all of these things, but then also has to do with what experiences you've had in life, right? Have you struggled through most of your life? And so you see money or making money as a struggle, and you have to work hard, for years and years and years to get ahead and things like that. So most people don't really consider or write down what their money story is.
Later on, we'll do some exercise with it. You're going to help me change my money story. This is why I brought you here, actually. It's my ulterior motive. But just to understand right now, each of us has a money story of his own. It's always something subjective. It's always something specific and personal. There's no
Definitely.
two stories alike, right? Everybody has a different one. And they get developed by things we've heard in the past, things we heard them and then we acted upon them, and then we got more evidence that it's right. So we said, oh, and now we formed a belief around it, and it keeps coming back to us to reinforce that belief, right?
Exactly.
Again and again and again. All right. So this is how money barriers develop in our lives, but it could be that we develop a good money story.
It could be.
It has
There's
no
many
barriers.
people who have a good money
not a lot.
story. And usually money will come very easily to them.
Yeah. So if I see someone that has a lot of money and it seems to come effortlessly to him, and I can't say everything, but most of the things he does is succeeding, and you say, okay, he has a good money story.
That would be actually
either he was
person.
brought up this way, or he changed his story for the better, right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
correct. And that would be a wonderful person to just get curious and say, hey, what's your money story? What do you believe about money? And then he'll tell you.
That's good.
Then
So
you can emulate the types of thoughts and beliefs and actions and patterns that person believes and that person does.
So I had a question for you, and I was wondering because we change a lot when we grow up in many areas of our lives. We form understandings, we learn new stuff, we change. We start up wanting to be firemen and astronauts, and we become coaches, and
Right.
so much changes. Why does the money story persists?
I honestly think it's a lack of intention and a lack of awareness. Those two things. So because it's mainly sort of a subconscious behavior, right? And subconscious patterning, a lot of us just aren't aware of it, and we haven't been asked the question, we haven't asked ourselves the question, we haven't spent time really figuring out, gosh, what is it that I actually believe? Most people have a really hard time answering that. And
So
then,
we think about the
okay,
circumstances, we blame circumstances,
mhm,
the times are hard right now, there's
yeah,
the
nothing to do with that.
depression,
There's people who
the
are
government.
incredibly successful in economic downturns,
Yeah.
and that's because they believe they'll be successful. I let me tell you a very quick aside. Years ago, I was friends with this gentleman who was very, very high up, like VP of sales in a really big company, and he had a lot of money. And I asked him one time, well, what would happen, if you lost all this money? Because in my mind at that time, I'm like, oh, this must have taken years and years and years and years to build up, right? And oh my God, what would happen if you lost it? You'd have to go back and work for years and years. And he just said, well, I just get it back, because his beliefs and thoughts and patterns and actions were all aligned with making money and being successful. He believed himself to be successful. If he lost it, it's no big deal. Things go up and down. He would just do the same things and he would gain it back. But that belief that it's easy and that he'd get it back no problem is what continues to make him successful.
I think you got us very curious by this point about how can we also implement this kind of thinking to create this kind of reality in life and enjoy the peace of mind, and less stress with this kind of thinking. But let me ask you this basic question. What is it with wanting more money, even let's say wanting to get rich? What is it that immediately surfaces up something evil or guilty or bad?
I don't know, I think in the media,
Is it
really
related to the
wealthy
old
people,
kings that used to take the lands of the peasants, whatever?
I think in the media, or, potentially people's experiences with really wealthy people, maybe they saw that these
In the
people
media,
stepped
because
over
they don't
others.
know them personally. It's in the media, right?
Yeah. So I do think that very wealthy people can be vilified a little bit,
Yeah.
and sort of seen as, they're the ones sort of keeping the little guy down, and
It's like, I
it's a
don't know.
social
I don't
belief.
know
It's a
the
social
science behind
construct.
it, but there's a mechanism that talks about the genetics that we are born with and the genetics that we inherit from the environment. It's
Hmm.
genetics that we evolve sometimes to have those connections. We
Yeah.
evolve to
Yeah.
believe that, and we need to break that cycle somehow and see something different. My first encounter with, I can't name names because it's people that know me, but my first encounter with people that had significantly more money than I've ever imagined someone having was so overwhelming to me, with the fact that they were so kind, they were so nice,
That's
they were
great that you've
so
had those
humble,
types of
they were
experiences.
so, what's that word? Where you guess
Like philanthropic, and they were good
yeah,
people.
and I
They
was
were
like,
using the
really?
money in
Are
a good
they
way.
hiding something?
Mhm.
Are they lying to me? What's happening here? And as I got to know them more and more, I said, okay, so you can be really, really nice, humble,
Mhm.
and respectful to other people, and have a lot of money and be rich and be able to afford whatever you want that doesn't corrupt you in any way or make you a bad person. That's amazing. I want to be like that.
Well, and so you bring up a really good point, that if you're able to identify
Yep.
specific limiting beliefs. So like you said, someone could have a belief that if they get really rich, it'll make them a bad person, right?
Yep.
Or they'll be evil or whatever. And so that even that one belief can keep you from being successful because
Right.
subconsciously you don't want to feel like you're a bad person. And if good people have less money, you will make sure that you have less money so you can be a good person. And so
Amazing.
specifically, if you can identify that you have that belief, then the best thing for that belief would be to do what you did, is you find either someone you know personally or someone, you know, that you can read about that has a ton of money and is doing really wonderful things with it. And this person is a really wonderful, genuine person. And in that way, you can sort of challenge the erroneous belief that, you know, in order to be successful, you have to step on other people or sort of not be a good person.
That's so true, you know, and it explains so much because I've seen so many talented entrepreneurs and professionals and business owners that had so much talent, so much potential, but somehow money just didn't stick to them or didn't come, or
Yeah.
the success was not as expected. And there's a money story there, right?
Usually it's a handful of beliefs. It's not like 100 different beliefs because, you know, if you took 100, you could write down 100 limiting beliefs you have, but they will fall into probably 3 or 4, you know, beliefs when you boil it down. And if
Which
you
are?
can, it will be different for everyone, but a lot of the basic, like the more basic ones would be, you have to work incredibly hard to make money. It's going to take a whole lifetime. As you talked about,
You
you're
need to
probably a bad
sacrifice the
person.
things that you love for money. Or you need to
Exactly.
sacrifice the things
Exactly.
that you love for your business to succeed. And then
Hmm.
you'll lack something else. You can't have it all, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Amazing. Okay, so let's start talking about what do we need to do to gain back the control, break that glass ceiling that we obviously made for ourselves. So, do we need to accurately identify our personal money story? How do
Start.
we do that?
You just take a piece of paper
Yep.
and ask yourself, what do I believe about money? I mean, the easiest, most basic thing that I can ask you is, what does the word money mean to you? Give me
Wow.
one word.
Wow. That's strong.
I'm asking you, what does it mean to you?
Freedom.
Freedom. Excellent, right? So that gives you a good basis. But did it always mean freedom? You know, have you done a lot of work on yourself to
No,
get to a
it
place
meant
where money
pain for a
means
lot of
freedom?
years. For me, money
Exactly.
meant pain.
There you go.
Now it
Yeah.
means freedom.
And for most of my life, a majority of my life, money meant security. In terms
Amazing.
of I needed money to have security, and I didn't see any distinction between financial security and emotional security. They were the same thing.
Tell
And
me the
so
problem around this thing, this association with money
this is a
and
this is a
security.
great question. This is a great question. So because I have thought exhaustively about this because it's been such a problem in my life. So
All right.
as I said, I mean we're talking 40 years of financial security is emotional security. And you might think that's no big deal. I mean, they're pretty close, you know. But the problem is that you think there's a certain amount of money that's going to make you feel safe. I always thought that. And I thought, okay, if I can make 100,000 a year, then I'll feel safe. That feeling, that terrible feeling of fear is going to go away if I can make $100,000. Great. Then I made $100,000. It did not go away. Not only did it not go away, it didn't even slow down. It changed not at all. So I was like, all right, well, maybe the number's 200,000. If I make 200,000 a year, that feeling's going to go away. I'll hit it, right? Then I made $200,000 a year. And I'll tell you what, the feeling did not go away. So then I just kept upping it. Well, maybe if I have X amount in the bank, X amount of investments, 3 different streams of income, I got all those, right? And so at every turn, and it took time to get all these things. And every turn, I'm like, great, I'm going to feel better now. And I didn't feel better at all. And so then, and this was only a few years ago, I was like, damn, okay, it's not about the money. It just isn't. You think it's about the money. You think that's what's going to bring you the feeling of safety and being satiated and being okay. And it's just not. You really have to find a way to pull those two things apart, financial security and emotional security. And let me just preface this by saying, to a certain point, you do need money up to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Like you really need enough money for your basic needs to be taken care of and for you to have, eat good food and have shelter and good health care and take care of your kids. But beyond that, beyond sort of a general, having enough money for general well-being, it doesn't really increase your happiness or feeling of safety. And so I had to sort of look at what I believed about money and what I believed about security and redo my beliefs about being safe, that I can feel safe and secure. For me, emotional security and the feeling of sort of safety and peace, like I was okay and the rug wasn't going to be pulled out from under me, I wasn't going to lose everything at any moment, that was incredibly important to me. I really wanted that feeling. And in my work as a money and mindset coach, a vast majority of people that come to me are seeking that feeling. It's not just that they want more money. They want to not feel guilty spending money. They have money, but they feel like they never have enough. They're on this wheel they can't get off of. My brother has had 10 times as much. He works in cryptocurrency. He's a hedge fund manager. So you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
He tells me all the time, he's like, it doesn't matter how much money I make. I just never feel safe. I never feel like it's okay. And so that's what I'm trying to say is it's not a dollar amount that
Right.
helps you feel safe. It's your beliefs inside.
Right. So if you're trying to make X amount of money or strive to this goal or the next goal to feel that emotional security, you're going to fail because one means doesn't support the other, right? Because that's not the vehicle to get you there. There's other methods for that. It's not making more money. If in the business I'm making decisions, wanting to feel secure, wanting to feel that stability, I'm not operating from the right place. Something is off and I should change it. We will talk about what I should change exactly. So
Definitely,
if you
yeah.
have something right now that's bothering you and you're saying with financials, doesn't matter if it's personal or in the business, this is not where I think I should be. So immediately, hey, let's go check the story first. Let's go check the blueprint. Let's check the operating system and see what the bug is. Maybe there's a bug there. And then ask myself the questions that you said, okay? What did I hear when I was young? What did I hear growing up? What are my beliefs? What's my association with the word money? What's the first word that comes up when I say it to myself? And then I can recognize if something is off or not. Am I right so far?
Correct. Yep. Getting honest with yourself and,
Yep.
and asking yourself questions to find out where you are, what you actually believe, where you're coming from. Once you have identified belief that isn't serving you, such as, I'll never be wealthy. I'll never
Yep.
be wealthy. So what's the opposite of that? Okay, I can be wealthy, or I am wealthy. I am abundant. Every time that thought comes up, I'll never be wealthy, you can state to yourself, I am wealthy. And one of the things, because you're not going to believe that straight off, right? Well, I'm
Right.
not. Look around. Look at all this, look at all the things that prove I'm not wealthy. It's basically if you're stuck in lack mentality, if you're sort of seeing the glass half empty all the time, right? You are very keenly aware of all the things you don't have, of all the lack in your life, of everything that's missing, right? So your attention and your focus and your energy is always sort of on what's not working, right? And it's very difficult to get to a positive place when all you're doing is staring at the negative. And so you've heard when people say like, don't think of a pink elephant. What are you
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
think of, right? So
Yeah.
you can't not think of something. You can't,
Right.
not think about lack. So you have to look at the positive. So instead of focusing on what you
And
don't
if it's
have,
present in my life, of course, it's even harder, right?
and fine, even if you're surrounded by it,
Yep.
just don't be staring at it, right? So look to the solution instead. Look to what it is you want. Put your focus and attention on what it is that you actually want. It's basically just shifting your mindset and your thinking to looking toward things or looking at things that are more positive. So it's forcing yourself to kind of see the glass half full. If you typically go toward the glass half empty, and And repetition, as you know, really makes things stick. And so making a list of, say, 10 things you're grateful for every night or every morning, however you want to do it, but staying consistent, doing that for 30 days, you will find that just in general life, you'll just be looking at things and thinking, that's nice that that happened. And so more and more of your energy and focus and attention becomes on more positive things. And that really just starts to sort of elevate your thinking, elevate your energy. And then every time you have that negative thought, you're telling yourself the opposite of it. So becoming really clear on what it is that you want, whether it's, you're making a list or you're making a vision board so you have a visual representation of what you want. But spending time each day, it doesn't have to be a lot of time. If you spent 5 minutes or 10 minutes, really just envisioning the type of life you want. Who do you want around you, and what do you want to be doing, and where do you want to be doing it, and how are you going to feel when you do it? The thing is that the mind, they've proven that the brain cannot tell the difference between reality and a vividly imagined scene. The brain can't tell. So if you're sort of feeding it this vision all the time, and you're reinforcing the feeling of it. So whatever senses you can use, if you can use all of the senses, it's better, particularly the feeling one, because that has the most power. So sure, you can close your eyes and you can imagine, yourself on stage, but as you're imagining yourself on stage, you're hearing the cheers of the people, right? And you're feeling kind of the hot lights, and you're feeling the excitement in your chest and how proud you are and things like that. So if you can really, during your visualization, tune into how you feel, you almost create like an energetic signature, I guess I would call it. And you're more likely to sort of bring that environment and opportunity and all of those sorts of things to you like a magnet, because like attracts like. It just works in conjunction with all the other things.
Hey, if you're liking this video and it provides value to you, subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot more coming your way. So we have this money story. It develops really young, and we take it to our personal lives, of course. But does it always bleed to the business, or can I have like this split personality, that I have one money story when it comes to my home spending, myself, my family? I want to know, how does my money story is affecting my decisions in my business, in my startup. If I have troubles with my personal finance, is my business doomed to
You never do.
to suffer the same results?
You're never doomed. But one of my
I'm kidding,
favorite
of course. You know
sayings,
what I'm saying.
so one of my favorite sayings, because it holds so much weight, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And this I have found to be true in my own life and everyone else's life. You can really just look at a piece of someone's life and know how the rest of their life is, because everything is being driven by these subconscious beliefs and thoughts and patterns. And so it would be, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be incredibly rare to have someone that was very successful in their personal life and just having failed business after failed business, or vice versa, right?
Wow.
Where their personal life was a mess and their business life, financially was really great. Sure, you can certainly have someone who's very successful in business sense, but because they're so focused on the business, they neglect their family and their kids, and that's a
But
problem.
I'm talking about financially. Like
Yeah, but
someone has
financially,
like debts
well,
in their
I
personal
really,
account, but overflow of money in their business account.
I
Overflow of
don't
cash
know
flow.
of anyone personally
No.
that is like that.
Fix
So
one,
if
you fix the other, right?
it's true. Yes, it's true. They are very intricately connected.
Wow. Amazing. So if I'm having some financial difficulties in my business, or I want to grow it financially, I should ask myself the same questions. What are my beliefs? What did I grow up on? What did I hear?
Absolutely. And
What's my connotation or association with the word
right.
money? And resolve that. Go make that business decision.
Clear, like getting clear on your life vision or your goals for your personal life,
Amazing.
you're using the same, tools and techniques as you would in your business life, right? So you have business
Mm.
goals, whether they be financial or growth, and you can have sort of separate but similar personal goals, right? Could be relationship or house or anything like that.
All right. Can we talk about
Exactly.
me a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. So, as I told you when we had our first conversation, the pre-recording conversation, that my parents, they fought over money a lot. Okay, let's say all the time until they got divorced when I was 10. Okay,
Hmm.
and they kept fighting over money for 20 years since. It's unbelievable. I want to know uh, if I can immediately assume that I have a limiting belief around money because that was my experience. And if so, what's the process to get out of that?
I don't
Am
think
I
you
am I
would
to
you would
assume that it's stuck with me? The fact that my parents used to fight about money and until they got divorced and kept fighting for another 20 years?
No, I don't think you assume
No?
that. I think, what the best sort of way to look at it is look around at your life. Do you have the type of life that you want? If you do, then you've moved past probably a lot of those limiting money beliefs.
I honestly can say that I want more. I obviously have this strong feeling that I can do better
Hmm.
financially and have more abundance. And obviously, everything's okay. We have enough, for
Hmm.
everything we need. But I do have goals. And
Sure.
I'm always kind of disturbed by the fact I'm asking myself, is it still in my system? Is it holding me back? Could I have gone faster if I would gotten rid of it? And what's the tool that I can use to like eliminate any impact of that in my life? Because I think there has to be.
What do you think is the biggest thing stopping you from having those goals? If you had to give me one sentence, what do you think it is?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I think I might not have the right habits
Okay.
instilled for creating the abundance and the success for myself that I want. But they're subtle. Maybe I'm not aware of them. Maybe I'm too prone for distractions, stuff like that. I'm always asking myself, what can I do better?
Do you think it's a belief or focus or
I think it's more of a
self-worth?
focus. I think it's more of a focus problem.
Okay. So you're struggling to focus on what's needed in order to move forward?
I think I am focused on what's needed, but like I said, I feel that it's not progressing fast enough,
Mhm.
or it's not progressing like I expect it to. Part of the
Okay.
reason I've started this podcast, the tipping point of success, is to find a way to get to that tipping point, like faster, easier,
Mhm.
smoother, safer, you name it.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
always starting with moving resistance, with
mhm.
with like clearing resistance out of the way. And I have this deep feeling that there is resistance in my way, but it's hard for me to articulate it. I have
Sure.
to say,
So
maybe
so
I'm a
you've talked
maybe I'm
about
a hard case. I don't know.
you've talked about the feeling that you're aware that you're not progressing fast enough, that it's not faster and
Yeah.
easier, and you're not getting to where you're going as quickly as you want. So, what would be the opposite of that? What is it that you want? So,
Mm,
you've pinpointed what you don't want.
yeah.
So, if you had to say a sentence that was phrased in the positive of what you do want or what is happening, if you were to fast forward your life 2 years and you had everything that you wanted, you'd attained your goals and things like that. What's the positive there that you would say?
Wow, that's a great question. So I would say that my life or the place that I'm at is like I said, like the opposite. It's like I feel no resistance. I feel ultimate
I
freedom. I feel
feel
that,
that. I
yeah,
feel no resistance.
yeah,
I feel no resistance.
right.
So you feel ease.
I feel ease. I feel creative. I feel the freedom to be creative.
That you feel the ease and
Yeah,
freedom to be creative.
yeah,
So I
for
think
sure.
if we stick with that, so
Yeah,
there's a great example of, you've identified what you don't want, right? But
yeah.
we don't want to focus on that. So we turn it to what you do want. And what you
Mm-hmm.
do want is you want to feel the ease and freedom to be creative. Because that's definitely a feeling that you can lock onto. And so for the positive belief, you would just state it in the present. So, such as, I feel great ease and freedom to be creative. Does that line feel like it resonates with you? Or
I
how would you
love it.
rephrase it?
Yeah,
So,
that's
one
perfect.
sentence.
That's great. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll buy
So
it.
I feel great ease and freedom to be creative. So
Mhm.
that would be your, say, affirmation or your new belief. And so I'll walk you through a technique that I use a lot that I think is pretty powerful called the swish technique. So I'm going
Let's
to
go.
have you close your eyes.
Close my eyes.
Close your eyes. It's easier to visualize if your eyes are closed. All right. All right.
There.
So what this does, we're going to get a visual and a feeling what it is you don't want. So sort of describe a scene where you feel the resistance and you're not moving fast enough and everything just seems hard and like you're kind of slogging through stuff. There's no ease to it. What do you see? What's that picture?
Yeah, I see a meeting with my team that everybody's like silent and energy is
Great.
really low. The frequency is
Great.
really low. Nobody's saying anything. We're just like,
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So that's your picture. So in your mind's eye, imagine you've got this big white movie screen, right? And on that white movie screen is projecting meeting where everyone's silent. It's kind of awkward. The
yeah,
energy is low,
yeah,
and you're not making any progress. Great.
yeah,
So that's what you don't want. Now,
right.
in the bottom right, very small, we're going to create a new vision. And so, what is the picture that you see in your mind when you think of, I feel great ease and freedom to be creative? What's that picture? So then maybe that vision
And
is
abundant.
that same boardroom, but maybe you're explaining your vision, and all of a sudden everyone's got all these ideas, and there's
Yeah,
all this energy, and there's
yeah.
there's voices, and there's excitement to it. Okay, so that's your sort of positive visualization. So
Mm-hmm.
we start with the negative. We are looking at that boardroom where everyone is silent and it's super uncomfortable, and it feels bad, right? In the bottom right corner is that new vision, and you're going to make it grow really big and really fast to sort of fill up that screen in your mind, almost like a swish. Exactly. So you are replacing that sort of negative picture with this wonderful positive picture where you're in this meeting room and you're telling them of your great ideas, and this is sparking all kinds of creativity from them, and there's excitement and there's energy, and now it's got a life of its own, and it's just moving forward even without you pushing. And so you're locking on to the feeling of that. And so while you're sort of watching, that vision, you might say to yourself that you feel the great ease and freedom to be creative. And so you would repeat that, and you would do that swish several times. So you bring up the bad one again, and you get that sort of vision and feeling. You see a small good one in the corner, and then it fills the whole screen. Just needs to take, maybe 30 seconds or a minute. If you really want to supercharge it, every time you have that feeling of, I'm not moving fast enough, I'm not accomplishing things, there's no energy behind it, I'm meeting resistance. When you have that feeling, just close your eyes, get centered, and do that swish technique. And you will be amazed at how quickly you will move past that. And more opportunity will show up, and more energy will show up, and all those things you want will sort of come
What
rushing
is
in.
the logic behind that? Behind the switching of the picture, from small to big. What's happening there?
Your mind thinks in pictures, and you're connecting with a more positive thought belief and feeling all within the picture. And so you're just retraining your mind. So in
Yep.
your brain, right, you're making connections, and because they're firing together, they're actually wiring like glue. And so as you continue to think these same things and believe these same thoughts and do these same patterns, it gets really ingrained, and then your mind goes there effortlessly, unfortunately,
Wow.
if it's a negative belief. And so, in order to change that thought pattern, you have to think the different thought every time. You have to bring yourself back and bring yourself back, and it actually starts to disintegrate the glue.
Don't dwell on the past. Forget about troubling yourself with where it came from and what did your
Definitely.
parents do and is it
Hmm.
stopping you? It's not helping you in any way.
It's not helping.
You can't change that. That happened in the past. You can't change that. You cannot change that with dwelling on it and saying that it's the other way around. It's not connected to you, whatever. Just focus on creating positive images and positive reinforcement of new beliefs that
Exactly.
will benefit you and serve what you want and what you feel is right for you. And that's it. And the past has
That's
nothing to do
pretty.
with it.
It sounds really, really simple, and it is. I'll say it's simple. It's not easy. Changing
Yeah.
lifelong patterns takes time, and it takes effort and commitment and intention. But it is simple. It just
You
might
know,
not be easy.
speaking to people like you, I feel a lot of times that when you're speaking with someone who has been through that experience and who knows about it and has researched it, then you sometimes just need the permission from them to do something that you believe is true, just to get the
Hmm.
permission to stop thinking about the past so much, stop dwelling on that, stop thinking about that.
Definitely.
Do another thing. And thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure it's the right thing. So thank you for letting me just do the right thing here. So, okay. Can anyone get rich?
I believe so. Yes.
That's great. Should everyone get rich?
That is completely subjective, given what is important in your life. And I think it's incredibly important to figure out what's important in your life.
Mm,
If just, you know, relationships are what's important to you, or having, you want to have money so you can eat really good food and be healthy and eat wherever you want, then focus on that. So really drill down to what it is you want and why, right? It's not just, oh, I want more money. Why do you want that money? Is it the freedom? Is it that so you can take care of your family? Is it so you can do more experiences? Is it so you can help other people? There's no right or wrong, but really figure out what it is that you want. And a lot of things, don't have to do with money past a certain point, right? Like I said, with my life, I was so focused on, I don't know, getting a certain amount to get that feeling of security. And now
mm.
that I have it, what's really important, what brings me the most joy is like playing with my dog, sitting in my pool, right? They're very, very simple
Are
things.
you playing with the dog in the pool?
Not in the
Does he
pool, no.
swim?
But or having friends over for dinner. So those types of things bring me the most joy and fulfillment. But part of
Awesome.
that is because we have a lovely house to bring them to,
Yeah.
or right, and that's all played into the money
Mm.
stuff. So no, I don't believe that everyone should be rich or whatever. It really just depends on what it is that you want and what's
So
important to
you
you.
don't believe that everyone should be rich, but you do believe that everyone should get what they want, or everyone could.
Absolutely.
Everyone could get what they
Absolutely,
want.
because happy people make
Yeah.
others happy. If
Mm.
you're feeling good and safe and positive, you're going to want to uplift those around you. You're going to have enough, you know, left over mentally and physically and financially to be able to help those you love.
Right. So of course it's okay to want more money. It's okay to want to get rich,
Absolutely.
but for the right reasons, to create value, to impact people, better serve the world, or better serve your family or whatever, but not to fulfill a hole in your heart or an emotional lack or whatever whatever it is,
That's
right?
how I
We
ended up
talked about it.
$750,000 in debt because I was
Yeah.
unhappy and I was trying to fill it with things and it didn't work.
Okay, quick recap. So let's talk about remind your number one money barrier breaking hack.
I think
Whatever works.
anything you can do, any of those things will lead somewhere good. If you can put them all together, I think it makes it more powerful. But you got to just start with where you are, and be patient. And beliefs take some time to change.
Okay, before the final question, I want to ask you, how can people get in touch with you and find out more about your work, working with you?
Sure. Well, like I said, I'm a money and mindset coach, and my company's name is Prosper Money Coaching. So they can go to my website at www.prospermoneycoach.com and learn a bunch of things there, or Katie at prospermoneycoach.com.
With the most beautiful card in the world. Like I've never seen. It feels like that feels rich.
I'm so glad.
It feels amazing.
But that actually is part of it. It feels rich, and that was
It
important to me,
does.
and I know that it feels rich, and that's why I did it. So you got to
It's
think of things
amazing.
like that.
It's amazing. Final question is, and that's a question I ask everybody who's coming to this podcast, is what does reaching the tipping point of success mean to you?
I think it was the realization after chasing money my whole life that, oh, it's not about the money, that it's really about that inner sense of, for me personally, that inner sense of security and freedom and even fulfillment, because the money didn't bring any type of fulfillment. And the work I'm doing now actually fulfills me in a different way.
So reaching the tipping point of success for you is feeling that fulfillment, and of course
Absolutely.
it's an, how do you say it, egg and
Yeah,
the
which came
rooster.
first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one is fueling the other, right?
Yep.
If you are fulfilled with what you do, if you love what you do, if you're feeling that sense of flow in what you do, then it builds up to success. And
It's
to
very
more
true.
and
It
more
does. It
success, and one
does.
supports the other. That's amazing. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you for all the time. Thank you for the knowledge. And
Absolutely. Thanks
I
so
will see you
much.
soon. Hey, if you feel you got value from this video, please share it with one other person so it can help him as well. Appreciate it very much. See you soon.